Hey guys, my name's Jen Cooper from the Canon Collective, and today I'm here to introduce you to the new Canon EOS 200D Mark II. It is Canon's smallest and lightest DSLR camera, and it is packed with some really great features. In this video, I'm going to take you through a basic run through of the camera's buttons and features so you can get to know your new 200D Mark II. So with the 200D Mark II, a lot of the buttons are in a very similar place to the original 200D. So if you are looking to upgrade, it should be a really simple transition for you. I'm going to run you through them now just so you know what they all do. On the top of the camera, you can see we have the on-off switch. This is also where you can flick it across into movie mode. On the left-hand side of that, you have the main Canon mode dial. So you can see here we start in automatic. Below that we have scene and creative assist. Above it we have our manual mode. So P, TV, AV and full manual. I'll go into that a little bit more in the second video. Above the mode dial we have the ISO button and the display. And this is your control dial at the top. So if we need to change any of the settings in our semi-manual modes, you'll do that by adjusting this dial here. The shutter button is at the front of the camera. Half press it down to focus, fully press it down to take a picture. So you notice on the back of the camera, again, the buttons are quite similar. On the top left, we have the menu and info. On the right-hand side, we have the magnify buttons, the AV button, the cue, playback, and delete. As we roll through this video, you'll learn a little bit more about what these buttons do. On the side of the camera, for connectivity, you have the remote and the mic input. And on the other side here, you've got HDMI and USB ports. Now I'm going to talk through some of the operational features of the camera. So the first thing is to interchange your lenses. You have a lens release button here on the side of the camera. If we hold this button down, we can turn the lens in an anti-clockwise direction to release it. You'll notice you have a red dot and a white square on the body of the camera. This means that you can attach all of Canon's EF lens range by connecting it to the red dot and red dot, and any of the EFS lenses will connect by matching the white square to the white square. So we identify that on the lens, match it to the camera, and then we turn it in a clockwise direction to click it into place. On the outside of the lens, you'll notice you have a couple of switches here. The first one, AF and MF. AF stands for autofocus, MF stands for manual focus. If you leave it in AF, the camera will do the autofocusing for you. If you switch it across into manual focus, adjust your focus by moving the manual focus ring here. Beneath that, you have the image stabilization. So if we leave the stabilizing mode on, the camera is going to work to help to eliminate any vibrations that you might experience when you're shooting. If you turn the stabilizer off, this would be suitable for when you have your camera connected to a tripod. Okay, so let's have a look at where the battery and memory card go in the camera. Your battery and memory card go in the bottom of the camera here. And the memory card is spring-loaded. So to put it in place, make sure you hear that click and press it in to release it. On the top of the camera here, this is your hot shoe. So this is what you'd use if you wanted to attach any accessories like a speedlight. On the back of the viewfinder, there's a little dial here. This is your diopter. So if you need to adjust the focus for the viewfinder to suit your eyesight, you can do it by moving this to the plus and minus until what you see is clear through the viewfinder. Right next to the viewfinder, you have this little symbol. This is your live view. So to turn the live view on, simply press this button down and now you can see through the screen at the back of the camera. This is also how we start and stop our movie mode when we've clicked the camera over into movie mode. To start a video, simply press the little red dot there. Another really great feature about shooting with live view turned on, this is a really easy way to select where the camera will focus simply by pressing the back of the screen. So I can select where the camera will focus, by moving my finger around and touching the back of the screen there, which is really quite useful. This is also good if you want to use the magnify buttons on the side to check that what you focused on is actually sharp. When you're not shooting in live view, if you're using the viewfinder to focus, by pressing this button here, the AF point selection, we can select whether we want to activate all the autofocus points or just one single point, which is a manual focus point. So by manually selecting this single point, we can really be quite precise about where we want that focus point to land on our subject, instead of having all of the autofocus points selected. So to change that, again, just press this top button here, and you can move the arrows on the back of the camera to change between the automatic and manual selection. When shooting in some of your semi-manual modes like P, TV and AV, you can select exposure compensation to adjust the brightness for your shot. This is a really quick and easy way that you can get the shot looking just the way you want it. To change the exposure compensation on your camera, simply hold down this little plus and minus buttons here. And with the top dial, you can move it to the left to make it darker and to the right to make it brighter. I can also control this scale by using the touchscreen. So if I press the Q button here, I can really quickly and easily adjust that exposure compensation. On the back of the camera, you'll notice the Q button here. This is a really quick and easy way for you to access the most common used shooting menu. So if I press the Q button now, I can quickly jump in and change any of the settings that are available on the back of my camera. As I change into some of the other manual modes, for example, TV, when I press the Q button now, I've got full access to control the shutter speed. I can also adjust on the back of the screen here that exposure compensation I mentioned. We've got the drive mode, so this is where we can go from shooting in a single frame, high speed continuous, or even selecting a 2-second self-timer. The autofocus points are also available by pressing that Q menu. So here we've got a single point focus selected. And finally, we have the choice of shooting in either a one shot, which is great for autofocusing on a single subject that's not moving. We can move to AI focus, which is a hybrid of these two modes, or AI servo. AI servo is perfect for focusing on a moving subject. So if you're trying to track something that's moving towards you, have a go at AI servo. Might really help you get a sharp shot. So as we progress through the shooting modes, if we go up into M for manual, here you can see we can set the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO, which is the camera's sensitivity to light. So simply on the back of the screen, those three fundamentals in photography are available for you to change right here. We can control it simply by pressing the Q button here and jumping through, changing those dials with the top control dial here. If you want to control the color in your shot, you can do this in two ways, by adjusting the camera's white balance or picture styles. To access the white balance menu, simply press the menu on the back of the camera, the red camera menu, and go into page 4. Here you'll see white balance, and we can control from daylight, shady, cloudy, tungsten, fluorescent, flash, and custom. If I'm out shooting a sunrise or a sunset, I really like using the cloudy white balance to bring out those warm golden tones. If I'm inside a school hall, for example, and I'm trying to take a photo under really tungsten light, changing my white balance to the tungsten helps to counteract that really yellow light that you get and makes it a little bit cleaner. There is another way that we can control color in the camera, and that is with picture styles. So on the same page of that menu, if we go down to the bottom, you'll notice picture styles here. There's a few that you can choose from. There's standard, portrait, landscape, fine detail, neutral, monochrome, and quite a few others. If you have a look at what each of them are changing as you go through the picture style menu, you'll notice some adjustments to the saturation, the contrast, the sharpness. So this is a really great way that you can help your camera get the most out of the scene that you're shooting. For example, some of the ones that I really like to use, portrait, if I'm taking photos of people, because it smooths out the skin tone. If I'm taking a photo of a landscape scene, then I'll set my picture styles to landscape. This will help to bring out the blues and green in the shot and really give you a vivid landscape photo. Another one that I love to shoot with is monochrome. Monochrome changes your shots to black and white, and here I can adjust and play around with the contrast and the sharpness, so it's quite a good menu to explore. If we select the monochrome, down the bottom of the screen, you'll notice a button here that says Info Detail Set. If I press that button, we can then go into a second menu for the monochrome where we can adjust the sharpness, the contrast, even the filter effects. So we might like to put on a red filter, change the tone to sepia. So the options are quite expansive of what you can do to the picture styles and monochrome. We can really get a lot out of such a little camera. Another great feature about the Canon EOS 200D Mark II is the 4K movie mode. It's really easy to access. Simply move your main on-off switch across to the left to access the video mode. Simply press the menu on the back of the camera and you'll notice in the red shooting mode, the first menu option that's available is to change your movie record size. So when you jump into that menu, you can see here we can go from full HD 1920 to 1080 across to your 4K at 25 frames per second. We do have full Wi-Fi connectivity in this little camera here as well. So to connect it to your mobile phone, it is really quick and easy to do. Simply press the menu button on the back of the camera, navigate your way across to the purple menu here which says Wi-Fi settings. And this is where we'll have full access to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, all the settings are clearly labeled there for you. To learn more about the Wi-Fi settings for your camera, you can check out the how-to video for the Camera Connect app. That will talk you through how to connect your camera to your mobile device. So guys, I hope this has helped you get to know your new Canon EOS 200D Mark II just a little bit better. Make sure you check out the 201 video where we'll be talking through some of the more advanced tips and tricks so you can get even more out of this great little camera.